and self-care through traveling outside of America to reconnect and rediscover who you are. It's time for us to leave any condition that disrupts our peace. Black Women Leave America opens your eyes and explores new ways of living, but more importantly, new ways of being. Because sometimes you have to leave in order to find yourself. Hey y'all, welcome to Black Women Leave America, the live edition. I am your host, Avalaura, and this is your host,
Jessica. What's up, y'all?
and it's a lot going on in the world right now.
There is a lot going on
So
in the world right now.
we're going to do another reaction video, and last week we started talking about medical tourism in Turkey. Go back and watch it if you haven't seen it. It was really good. We actually learned some stuff.
And we had a bit of a surprise. As soon as you said it, it flooded back. It took me back.
Listen, when you're doing reaction videos, you don't know what you're going to get because we really
You have no
don't
idea.
watch it
Yeah.
beforehand. So it is fresh for us. We're watching it at the same time that you're watching it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jessica had a bit of a reaction. You have
So
to watch
anyway,
it to see what that was.
you'll have to watch it.
So today we want to continue talking about medical tourism because I think this is really important, particularly because there's so many Americans who, even if we have healthcare, do not have proper healthcare. And this is one of the considerations that a lot of Americans use when they're looking at countries that they want to live in, right? The thing that I love about medical tourism is that you don't even have to live in these countries, some of these countries, right? You can just visit and get top-notch healthcare and go right back home wherever that is. So we're going to continue to explore that. But before we do that, since we just saw this in the news today, if you all are not familiar, there is a travel ban going on right now in 12 countries, and I think 7 countries that have a partial ban. As you know, in this year of I'm gonna just say the administration, there's a lot of things coming up. If you are considering moving abroad now, which I absolutely do not blame you, if you are considering just visiting anywhere now, I would highly recommend that you stay posted to the news, to what is going on in the world. Like, this is not a time where we can just kind of be in that bubble. You know what I mean? Where we're like, I don't really want to know what's going on. You have to find that sort of balance of, let me keep abreast of what's going on because I could be impacted, and let me not get weighed down on what's going on because it could kill my mental health. Like that's really where we are. But yeah, like there's these travel bans now, and if these are countries that you were looking at moving to or visiting, you might have a problem. So, Jessica, you have anything to say about that? We definitely want to mention those and talk about that in case these are places that you were looking at going to.
No, but I can certainly take a look and find it. And to be honest with you, this video should probably, maybe we should do a completely separate video just about this, because it looks like this is definitely a trending topic. So CNN is saying that well, no, I think I can share it as long as it's not a video. I think we should be okay. Um, so CNN has said that Trump signs proclamation to ban travel from 12 countries. Let's see if we can find out what 12 countries. Okay.
I do have the
Afghanistan,
list. Mhm.
uh-huh, Myanmar.
Let me
Hmm?
see. I have the list pulled up somewhere. Myanmar,
Myanmar. You want to go ahead and read the list so I don't butcher these names?
um, Chad, Congo, Guinea, Eritrea. Now that's interesting. Why is it Eritrea and not Ethiopia? Okay, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen. So those all you will be banned from traveling to the U.S. So I don't know, like if you're an American citizen, right, and you're living there, I don't know how you're
Mhm.
impacted. Um,
Right.
but it's got to slow down, right? The ability to travel between those countries and the US, even if you're a US citizen and maybe you're trying to get back home or, whatever. So those countries have a full travel ban. There are 7 countries that have a partial ban. Burundi, Cuba. I mean, Cuba can't catch a break. Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo. I don't even know what Turkmenistan. I don't know what country that is. And Venezuela. I need to pull out a map somewhere because what in the world country is that? Um, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
wild because okay, I gotta find. Yeah, I gotta find out where that is because it's not Turkey. It looks close to Turkey. It's not Turkey. I mean, we just kind of got Cuba back. Uh,
Right. Right.
like
Right. And there's a lot going on here, the fact that, and so I feel like what'll happen is that they're gonna, oh, here's a map of like, oh, sure. Um, they're also going to do the same thing to us. I kind of feel like, right? Like, why wouldn't they then turn it around and be like, okay, fine, we can't come there, y'all can't come here, because that's what they were doing in Mexico for a minute,
there
weren't they?
was something, and I don't recall. I don't want to have misinformation. There was something that happened. I believe
Hmm.
it was last week. Where
Hmm.
Europe there's a few things that have happened. One, I know that Americans now, I think for Europe, we have to get visas in certain places now where like before we didn't have to. There are definitely some other travel things that have happened. That's why I say you really have to stay um
Yeah.
abreast of what's going on. You can't go by like how things used to be because things rapidly change. And it literally
Change, right.
these countries could be banned today and then tomorrow off the ban. Like this is the craziness that's going on right now
Yeah.
in America. So yeah, there
Yeah.
was something that happened between Europe and America in terms of who could now come into Europe. Um, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, this is just crazy though. Countries affected by Trump's new travel restriction. Just totally wow.
And then did
Well,
you see the reason? What did it say? I didn't read the whole article, but it was like, okay, this was the title. Trump says travel ban applies to countries that don't have things under control. Sir. Sir.
you ain't got nothing to control. You ain't got nothing to control neither,
Sir.
bro. So just
You
FYI.
over here on social media being petty with Elon Musk going back and forth, and
Hmm.
you talking about don't have things under control?
Right.
I feel like I'm in the twilight zone sometimes, for real.
Facts. Same. Same.
Like,
It is
what is really
horrible.
going on, y'all? What's really going on? For those of you watching, what's really going on? Am I missing something? Are we missing something?
Yeah. It's a
Because
mess.
I don't feel like anything is under control right now in the US. Things are going crazy. And
Hmm.
we don't know what's going to happen next. It's like we're getting hit from every single direction and we literally
Right.
don't know what's going to happen next.
Right. And so what were the reasons? He said just that they didn't have things under control and that was the only reasoning behind it.
That was the title. I looked at that and I was just like, oh my God, I can't read this. Um, let
You
me
know what I
see.
was telling someone though? I believe what's happening right now is that this um, particular individual just, I think that this individual doesn't like when his name is not mentioned. And so he does things to make sure that his name is in fact mentioned. And I think it gives him a high of no other just to see, oh, okay, yes, I'm still, everybody's talking about me. Everybody's talking about me. So it's that, right? It's just it's that need for constant his name mentioned, something happening with his name going on all the time. And if that's not, he feels irrelevant. Because remember, this is the same kind of tactics this individual was doing during the time when he wasn't in office. It was like any and everything he could do to get some drum up with the name in there, he was doing, right? to get attention, right? He even started his own social media, to drum up attention. He was doing everything he could to get attention. So,
Ooh, when I tell you now, and I don't throw around this name title, lightly as a mental health professional, right? Because y'all TikTok folks be on there just throwing around stuff. But I mean, this is literally classic narcissism, like
right,
classic.
right.
If you ever want to use the word, this would be appropriate.
Hmm.
Because some of the
Yeah,
people y'all be calling narcissists, they're not really narcissists, but
yeah.
this dude is out of control. But to answer your question, is really talking about how the travel ban is not really a surprise.
Right.
Um, and that some have told the BBC that being banned from traveling to the US puts them in danger.
Mm,
I think that was interesting.
that is very interesting.
Um,
And you said the
others
BBC said that?
This is BBC. Others have said that the bans, which are put down generally to poor vetting, and people overstaying visas, is common sense. Traveling to the U.S. is a privilege, not a right. I
Right.
mean, how many people think it's a privilege now?
Right.
Um, Looking ahead, the ban expects to face legal challenges, just like everything else he's been doing, because he's just been doing a lot. So
Hmm.
it looks like they're talking about, poor vetting and overstaying visas. But here's the thing, right? That means we don't have it together. That's not, those countries don't have it
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So I still now, at least for this particular article, don't see a reason why
Yeah.
that is the case. I'm sure there are others that, kind of go into more detail, but I don't really know.
Okay,
I
so
know
it
it's
says he's accused Iran of slow walking talks to reach a deal over its nuclear program. Um, that's about all I see. I don't know if that was reasoning for it. I don't know. That's about all I see.
I see that it goes into effect on June 9th, and if it fulfills a promise that he made during his 2024 election campaign.
So the folks that voted for him voted for this then.
They don't know what they voting for. They not smart either. And I don't have an issue saying that anybody who voted for him is not smart. So they don't know what the hell they voting for.
They don't know what they voted for. They voted for a bunch of lies. That's what they signed up
I
for. That's it.
mean, listen, all of these people talking about, I didn't know he was going to do this. He told you he was going to do it. And
He
you
did.
still voted for him.
He was
And
very vocal.
here's the thing, right? Let's say, devil's advocate, as they say. Let's say he told you he was going to do it, right? And then he doesn't. Why would you vote for somebody who lied to you? Who said they were going to do something and then they didn't do it? Why would you vote for him?
Yeah. So
So you got what you voted for.
yeah. So that's the update that we just wanted to give you all and share with you that this new travel ban may stop you from going to a country you may have had on your list of places to go. So you definitely want to check it out, do your research on it, get involved in it. And then we'll see you all in the next video for our actual reaction. But I thought that this should be separated because,
No, I agree. That
yeah,
was,
this
that's why you
topic
do what
is
you do.
yeah, this topic is one that is it's a little nerve wracking, but at the same token, to be honest with you, it isn't one of the. I don't think he's banned any of the top 10 countries that we've talked about before that are like good
No,
to Black folks.
those countries were not on the list.
Those are not on the list, so that might be a good thing. But definitely check it out. Do your research. And look into it a little bit more. Definitely some things you want to stay on top of. It looks like some people are marching because of it too.
I
Like I
mean,
said, my thing is if these countries come back and then say y'all can't come here, that's ooh, mm,
I just think again, I think about, and let me look at the list again. Like, I don't think these are any of the popular countries that we've been talking about this whole
no,
time.
that's not.
And I don't think we've interviewed anybody who is in any of these countries. I do have now, particularly here in the DC area, they're definitely like Sierra Leoneans. Like I remember I had a client who her family was from Sierra Leone, and I think one of her family members, or she still had some family members that were still there. So I think Sierra Leone, I definitely know people who will be impacted by that for sure. um I think most of these countries are not countries that a lot of us are like traveling to, or a lot of tourism, so they won't necessarily be negatively impacted um
Wait a minute.
by that.
I think
Haiti is that.
I just found out why he's not, why
Okay.
he's said it. So breaking news. And so listen to this. So this is Afghanistan, right? Make sure I don't have my glasses on.
It's
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Okay. So accusations have made against Afghanistan in a presidential proclamation signed by Trump. The document highlights the Taliban, which controls the country. Okay. The move comes just week after Trump administration appeared to signal that it believed the situation had improved in Afghanistan. And when it announced the end of the TSP, whatever that is, for Afghanistan's living in the U.S., Afghanistan further accused Trump, listen to this, of lacking competent or cooperative central authority for issuing passports or civil documents. So why did he do it? Because
Because
they
they
told him he
accused
was
them.
incompetent.
Yeah. And then so then his petty self fires back and says, "Y'all don't have
Yeah,
your
thank
stuff
you.
together." He is such a baby. Oh my God. I mean,
Oh my
listen,
God.
my 11-year-old has more sense. Anyway, mm, let me stop before we get all the wrong people watching
Right,
this.
exactly. Exactly. I'm not going to go no further, but I just had to share that because it goes in alignment with what we were just saying. Just horrible. Horrible. You are a grown up. You're a full adult. Figure it out, bro. Figure it out.
Not a grown up. Not mentally or emotionally speaking. No. I'm curious, for those of you while watching, how does this impact your travel plans? Does this impact your
Impact
travel
yourself.
plans?
Great question.
And for those of you all who are kind of watching, like what's going on with this administration and paying attention, if you were thinking about leaving this country and moving abroad, are you more inclined to do it now, or are you less inclined to do it now?
Right. Right. I
So
don't know
I
about
would
you
love
all.
to.
This makes me more inclined. Like,
I think it's interesting, right? Because I think where people would be more inclined because of a lot of the restrictions and the changes, you're also at the same time like, I don't know what's going to happen. So I think you have to almost be in like a certain position of not caring. Like if something pops off, then I'm just committed to, staying here, or,
mhm,
I have family or friends or a community or whatever that's already here. You know
mhm,
what I mean? Type of thing. Because
mhm.
people who are already gone, they're good. They like, look, I'm good. I'm not coming back. But if you haven't left yet, and in light of everything that just keeps changing, it definitely might be cause for consideration.
Just saying. Just saying.
I feel, sadly, I have about, I don't know, 4 more years. I don't know. Dang, kids just now going to high school. I mean,
Yeah. Mhm.
and the truth is, obviously, right, you can move. But the way this education system, and this is another topic, I mean, we're talking about medical tourism, which is important. The way this education system is, I don't want to play around with my kids' education. And I don't want to have to now go through looking abroad for the best places for education, making sure that that's all vetted, right? Because that is extremely important. And especially with everything that's going on in the world and how much college costs these days. I mean, may or may not be going to college. So you need to be educated. You need to have skills. You need to have a trade. You need to have common sense. You need to be able to think for yourself.
Well, let
You
me
know,
tell you something. There's a bunch of idiots doing jobs that did go to college, but and they are complete and total ding dongs. I just anyway, different story, different podcast episode for a different time. Oh goodness. So yeah, best to just move out the country and just hang. You know what's so funny though, and this brings to mind this, and then we'll go ahead and close this out. There's what's his name? What's not living single? What's the other show with the girlfriends?
oh,
Girlfriends. The producer Myra, what's her face? Can't remember her
Maya
last
Bala.
name.
Yeah.
Thank you. She was on the Breakfast Club, and Charlamagne face asked her, put up a meme that said who was the most toxic of all the characters, and so they were talking about Lynn's character, and he was
Mm.
saying she was toxic because she just like had no boundaries and stuff. And he's like, this generation would probably, really get on her for the way she acted, and so she was saying she disagreed. And that Lynn's character was actually very free spirited and free
Yeah, she was free
willed, and
spirited.
that's what we need, like now that's what
And
we're
I
now
think
coming
that's
into.
more this generation.
That's what she was saying, right? Like
Yeah,
that the generation of like, no, I'm not going to work 80
right.
hours a
I'm gonna live
week.
my
And
best life.
right,
I'm gonna
so
go to
it's
therapy. I'm gonna go live my best life. I'm gonna go
right, backpack
backtrack,
and do all the
backpacking
things,
all
like
across the
yeah.
world.
It's like, where are you working now? I'm not working, I'm just chilling, right? Like
Right. Like
I'm doing these
he's
little odd
look,
jobs.
he's so out of touch though. Anyway.
Right.
Mm,
But that kind of brought that to mind. It's like this
yeah.
next generation is going to be that generation that's just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. And so
You,
as this AI comes into play, AI is going to be doing a lot of that. And anyway, bringing it full circle, I think a
you know
lot of Americans are going
what's
to leave.
what's
That was my thought.
interesting though? What's interesting because I told you before we came on how I just saw CNN and they were talking about the job market and how like for the 2025 graduates, like this is the worst job market like in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is to see how that's going to impact these kids now. Like I said, you coming out of school with an $80,000 a year college tuition, right? And can't get a job or
Right.
grossly, what
Right.
I mean, underpaid.
Right.
And so is that going to be, well, you know what, let me go abroad, right? For other opportunities because there's really
That's
nothing holding me here,
where I was
so
going.
yeah, how is that going to
Hmm.
impact things? So it's like we're
Hmm.
right in the midst of it now because we already know that there are a lot of Black women. There are a lot of people who are moving abroad for a better quality of life, specifically for lower cost of living,
Right.
right?
Right.
But yeah, when you come out of school and you can't get a job, I mean,
Right.
these kids can't buy houses.
No, no. I was looking at some a video, and they said um, the medium base level, like for San Francisco, is $200,000. If you make less than $200,000, you can apply to their home ownership program and get assistance with down payment. I was like, "Are you freaking? That is insane to
It
me.
is insane.
$200,000 is considered poverty."
Listen, in places like Florida, you like a millionaire.
Right. So why would I stay here? I could just take my little change and go.
Swear.
So anywho,
I told like that when I was in San Francisco, and mind you, this was many years ago. I couldn't believe that I saw, people living on the streets with like animals and cell phones. I was like, what the?
yeah, yeah,
And so how
exactly.
many of these people are, quote unquote poor, or how many of these people are just simply, in underpaid,
Position.
professions. They just can't keep up
Mhm.
with the cost of living.
Yeah, I saw another one I saw on social media. This guy had a post. He had a cardboard. People write on the cardboard, and it said, "I don't know. I got a job. I just don't make enough money."
Facts. And that's what it is, right? Because before it was like, oh, pull yourself up by the
Right.
bootstraps and work hard, get a job. What if you do all of that and you can't get anything?
Mhm.
This is like the worst job market. I know people
Mhm.
who are very well educated, who
Yep.
have skills, and they
Yep.
can't get jobs because people don't want to pay them, right? They have too much experience. They have too many
Mhm.
skills. I would rather get somebody just coming out of college, a year experience, whatever, so I can pay them less. Because if I have this person over here with all the experience who can clearly do the job, I'm going to have to pay them too much money.
Facts. Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
people who have lost six-figure jobs that
Mhm.
cannot get a job.
Yep.
It's insanity right now.
It is.
And none of us know what's going to happen. I mean, none of us know. Like, oh, and we just talked about it too. Job Corps. How about that? Job Corps is gone.
That's right.
So now we have taken away the ability for, you know, kids who normally would not have opportunities to get a trade, get
Yep.
a skill where they
Mhm.
can make a livable wage, right, for them and their family. And so you have a
Mhm.
convergence of things happening all at the same time. You have people graduating who can't get jobs. You have
Yeah.
people being fired from jobs just because they felt like it,
Mhm.
because the wind was blowing. And I want to get rid of the Department of Education. So hell, y'all don't have no jobs.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, so now you got people who are educated who don't have jobs. And
Yeah.
oh, at the same time, you got people who aren't educated, who have no opportunities, who can't get jobs. What do y'all think is going to happen?
Where are we going next? Exactly. What do you think is going to be the reaction of that action? Right? Like there's
Because I'm telling you right
cause and
now,
effect here, people. Cause and
the
effect.
thing, the thing that I would really be paying attention to now where I live is crime.
Yep.
That's what I would be
Mhm.
paying attention to, because if you have people who can't get a job and they can't get support systems, they're trying to cut Medicaid, Medicare, you know, food stamps, they trying to cut every dang thing, right? So
Yeah.
now you're trying to cut all of this stuff, housing assistance, that literally you section 8 trying to cut all of this stuff. You are going to have more people living on the streets, and you're going to have more people who do not have a way to make money, so they coming for yours.
Take care of themselves. Absolutely. And their basic needs.
Basic food, clothing, shelter.
Shelter. Right. Whew.
Listen,
Y'all, what we gonna do? What we gonna This is a mess. It is a mess. It is a mess. But we hated having to put, yeah, this is, but it's a conversation that needed to happen. It's a conversation that needed to happen, and we want to take you all aware. So I'll go ahead and make sure that all 12 are listed down in our description of this video. Thank you so much for watching Black Women Leave America, the live edition. Avalaura, any last thoughts before we roll out?
we need to have more of these conversations, even though they're uncomfortable. And places like here may not be the best because we got trolls. But
Hey, the
so just
trolls
know,
get us more views, so it is what it's a double edged
but just
sword.
know that this is a courageous conversation, because I promise you, y'all who are listening who agree, come through and say something, because I can already see the trolls in our comments. But it's a conversation that needs to happen, because this is year one. This is year one. How are we gonna make it through 3.5 more
And
years?
let's just say this. This is only 6 months of year one. We ain't even made it to the end of year one yet. This is only 6 months in this ding dong.
I'm getting whiplash from all the stuff coming from every different direction. I don't know what to do. So
Yeah,
we need to have these conversations, and we really
it
need
is.
to be planning and taking action. And it's happening in some ways, but really now more so than ever. I think a lot of us, we kind of are on autopilot. Things were good. we had our businesses, our jobs, we're making good money, traveling, taking care of our families, living our best lives, right? Going to therapy, working on our mental health, self-care, right? All of these things. And now it's almost like we're backsliding into, we don't even have time to think about self-care and mental health. We got to think about basic things that we hadn't had to consider in years because we were past that point. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Now I got to be like, well, dang, I need a job. Where am I going to get money? Or I need more money because this job is not enough.
Right. And or the fact that I just got laid off from a job, or my government funding got cut off, or
The grant
the
money that we
grant
had
money's
is
gone. So now what do we do, right? And you have whole entire, and even just the delivery of the services, right? We were supposed to get X, Y, and Z services. Now we're not getting those services anymore. That whole department is gone, and that center is closed down. Where am I supposed to go? So it's sometimes it's not about the money. The money, yes. Do we need to save costs? Yes, but you don't save costs at the detriment of people's lives. That is just, it makes no sense. The only
it's
reason
not
we
even
have money
saving
is to take care
costs
of ourselves.
because, again, I already see it. The way that the crime is about to go up, mental health services, the need that's going to be, because when you can't support yourself, you can't support your family, you're stressed out, right? You're scared. Mental health services are going to be through the roof, health services, all of those things, because we're going to be impacted. We're really not going to be saving any money because now it's poor quality of living for many of our citizens, and that's really what's going to happen. We were already struggling. You think about it, there were already so many people that were in need. Now we have even more people because all the things that are getting cut.
Yep,
So
exactly. Yep,
I think as a as individuals, as families, as communities, as a collective, we definitely have some decisions to make. And listen, if y'all decide to leave, let me know where you're going, because community is everything. Where y'all headed? Why you headed there? Where's share the research? Why did you choose this place? These are necessary conversations we need to have.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Black Women Leave America. We will see you all in the next video. Oh, and if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you go ahead and hop on over to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. You like the video that you're watching at any point, and leave us a comment telling us something that you've learned or taken away. Or if you're leaving, tell us why you're leaving. Like Avalaura said, we'd love to hear from you. We'll see you all in the next video.